This is a Pint-Size Media podcast production.
Hi, I'm Lauren Edmonds, and this is the Lauren Edmonds Podcast. I'm talking all things education and parenting for children in the primary school years, but specifically for remedial and special needs children. I hope to give you my insights that I've gained over the last 12 years of in-field research, owning a special needs school in Johannesburg, as well as the academic research I've been doing for decades. I hope you enjoy it. So if we're speaking down the road of developing tools for your child, and we started talking about safe environments and how children feel safe at home and might feel less safe at school and even unsafe at school or wherever they go outside of the home, the focus, I believe, is always on skill development of the child. So when we want to help your child to move into an environment where they feel less contained, levels of anxiety rise, they're not feeling so safe, the same conversation applies. So we go and play with them in the afternoon, in their rooms, with their Lego, outside, wherever it is. And then we find that connection. Then we talk to them about what happens at school and how they feel and validate those feelings. And then we can talk to them about when you feel, let's say the child used, I am scared at break because I don't want to play the games my friends are playing because they're really good at those games and I feel left out. Okay, well, when you are at break and your friends are playing those games and you don't want to play those games because you're not very good and you feel left out, who else, when you look around the playground, who else is there? And you're using a sort of a mind view, a meta model of thinking, where you're getting them to think about their thinking and you're getting them to visualize what's on the playground. And they might say, well, no, there's nobody else. And you might say, well, tell me what is there? Are there trees? Could you go sit under the tree? Could you go climb the tree? That's an option. Then you might say, is there somebody else that's not playing? And they might not have thought of that person. Well, can you go meet that person? And then those are already two solutions. And then you might say, is the teacher there? Could you go sit next to the teacher? Yes, I could. Okay. And let's look at option number 4. The people who are playing, if you really do want to play though, you want to give it a try. Tell me about all these people that are playing and tell me about each of them and which one you are friends with. And then in class, could you sit next to them and say, I really want to play, but I'm struggling. Can I play with you? And see what they say. And then you're basically problem solving and you're teaching them how to think it out. And you're giving them the space to come up with the answers. And all you're doing is probing those answers. And if you come to nothing at the end of that conversation, then you come to nothing. And you let them have the same day tomorrow that they had the day before until they're ready because they might come to you the next day and go, I was thinking about it and I was watching them play and I had this idea. And then you can say, well, did you try it? No, not yet. Okay, well, can I help you out with that? So that's a very specific example around helping a child to visualize what happens at school in this environment they feel is unsafe and to reposition it for themselves. So there's a number of techniques we can use. That's really practical. It's really language-based, connection, conversation-based approach to helping children to feel more empowered. In terms of empowerment, there's other things you can look at in terms of who are your safe people. Fred Rogers said this thing. He said, always look for the helpers. And I think that's just a remarkable thing to teach your children, because the helpers are the ones that will probably help you when you're in distress. So in your school environment, my son, my daughter, my girl, in your school environment, of all the teachers you have, who do you feel is the safest for you? And weirdly enough, I've had this conversation with a few children. Often it's not their teacher. It's the PE teacher or it's the librarian or someone like that. And to get them to recognize, wow, yes, that person, I feel safe. And then I might say to them, depending on how old they are, what makes them safe for you? And it could be she listens when I talk, or I've asked her in the past and she's helped me. So then what you're doing is you're getting the kid to understand also what a safe person means for them. And then the generalization of skill can happen because now they know how to look out for safe people. So then you say, okay, now you know where a safe adult is. Now tell me about safe children. And they might talk to you about unsafe children. And we don't want to villainize children because your child feels that they're unsafe, because that's not necessarily true. It's a feeling. But you might say, I can't go to these 3 kids, but this one, he shared his lunch with me yesterday. And you don't want to drive down and kind of get your kid to hook their claws into that child. But you might say, okay, so if you're struggling, you can go sit next to this kid when he's eating. And maybe you can share your lunch. Should I pack an extra couple of strawberries for you? because that's a resource, it's another skill. It's showing the child that they maybe need to be prepared and plan for their day. So that those are very practical things you can talk about to your child in terms of what they can do. And another big thing, which is sort of off this a little bit, is to help children to visualize where they're going and what's going to happen so that they acclimatize to it. So a lot of change management work is around, let's picture where we're going so it's not a huge surprise. And you would do this if you were changing schools. So if you're going to change your kid from one school to another, well, you would talk about it, you would show them pictures, you would take them for a visit to the school, drive them around the school, show them the uniform. It's acclimatization. You could do the same thing every morning with your kid if they're struggling. So in bed, one of your routines could be, when you wake them up, is to talk about the beautiful things that happen at school, to focus their mind on that. It's like we want to listen to all the bad news in the world and then we think the world is terrible. You could do that, or you could focus on the good things. So you can sit with your child in the morning and say, so I've packed you some strawberries. Where are you going to eat your lunch? Are you going to enjoy them? Let's say they love strawberries. Or it could be about, I know on Wednesdays is library day and I know you love it. I think the library is going to be wonderful and you've got this book, and you really focus them on the positive things. And that kind of puts them in a virtual cycle rather than a vicious downward cycle. And it's just shifting the mind and the body and the sense that they're in so that they feel more in control and more contained.